Welcome back. Cooking or car driving? Marc Murphy embraced the stove when he couldn't afford to become a professional race car driver, and racing's loss is our game this morning. As our chef on a shoestring, Marc will whip up a 3-course meal that you all voted for in our chef on a shoestring budget of just $40. Welcome, chef. Great to see you, Marc.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me here.
And tell us what's on the menu and what the people selected.
Well, what the people selected was a chicken kebab, and we've got some peppers, some red onions, and some mushrooms on that. And what I've started the meal with, we're doing pretty much a classic tomato soup. We've started it right here. We've also got the finished product.
And
we're garnishing it with something a little different. We're making a grilled cheese, and we're making grilled cheese croutons.
And for dessert?
And for dessert, we're making s'mores, which are obviously, I think everybody knows, chocolate, marshmallow, and graham crackers.
Hopefully everyone knows.
And you know, the one thing about s'mores is you don't have to actually have a campfire. We make them actually at our restaurant, Ditch Plains, down in the West Village. And we wrap them up in tin foil, and you bake them in an oven about 400 degrees for about 5 minutes. Take them out, and they're wonderful.
All right, well, I can't wait to try that. First, though, we're going to get to the soup portion of the meal, and you can already smell just all these vegetable flavors coming out. What are you doing over here? What'd you put in the pot?
Right here, I started off with a little olive oil, and then we do some garlic, some onions, some carrots, some celery, and a lot of tomato. And I also add a little bit of potato to the dish, because the potato really helps thicken it, because you're also going to have to reduce it down a little too much.
And do you need to cut them up first before you put them in there?
Absolutely. You want to get your vegetable, you want to clarify the onions, you want to cook these vegetables with salt and pepper, obviously.
Okay.
You want to bring out those flavors. You want to get them, you want to bring those flavors out first before you add the water or your stock, however you're going to make it.
And how long are we doing this for?
You know, this, you're going to sweat out your vegetables, cook them, and then afterwards you're going to add your water. This, until everything is tender. The potatoes are cooked all the way through. So basically, you know, a potato takes about 15, 20 minutes sometimes. Depends on how you cut them. You can cut them smaller or thicker. And then you can use an immersion blender, which is an absolutely fantastic tool. And you just take it.
Even when it's hot, you can put the blender in?
You can put the blender in, and you buzz it up like this. And then at this point, you can also add your cream or your half and half, which we have some right here. We can just pour it right in there. And if you want, you can do two things. You know, a soup, if you want to actually use the immersion blender and buzz it up all the way and make it thin, or you can also strain it if you want to make it a little bit thinner, or it depends on the consistency you want. You know, we didn't actually strain ours, we just cooked it like this, and it just...
And then do you put it on the back on the stovetop for a while, or is it ready to go?
It's ready to go. You can reheat it, you can use it again, you can use it, you can make it the day before if you want.
Okay.
And now we can
And then you have the classic grilled cheese sandwich that you're making, that then you cut up into little bite-sized pieces like this.
Exactly.
For garnish.
We have one right here, and you can just, you know, it's really, really simple. And you know what's nice is you could actually make these a little ahead of time too. And then just pop them in the oven and warm them up before you put them in the soup, because you obviously don't want to put a room temperature crouton in. But you know, very simple.
Really good.
Very simple.
Let's talk about the kebabs.
And then the kebabs. We have the finished product over here. One of the most important things I find about doing these kebabs is, one, I love to use the chicken thighs.
Okay.
I think they have more flavor. They're a little bit more. They don't dry out as much.
And they're less expensive too.
And they're less expensive, which is very good for being on a shoestring.
So we can meet our goal.
Exactly.
What are you putting in with
I'm putting a little olive oil, a little bit of black pepper. I have some roasted garlic. The garlic we cook in the oven for a little while. We use this a lot at our restaurant. At Landmark, we go through a lot of roasted garlic. I don't use a lot of raw garlic, because you know, the raw garlic sort of stays with you.
Yeah, sure.
So we roast it in the sense we call it confit. We cook it very slowly in the in olive oil. We don't want to burn our grilled cheese over here.
How long do you want to marinate it before you actually put it on the grill?
You're going to marinate this for probably about an hour. You want all those flavors to sort of seep in there and get the pick up the sorry, we also didn't mention, we also put some rosemary in there.
And then also the onions and the peppers that you have here that's going to go with it, do you marinate it together, or do you keep those out of the marinade?
I keep them out of the marinade. Okay. You really don't have to do that. So here we have the chicken that we've marinated earlier.
And you're ultimately going to skewer that.
We're going to skewer that. We have some skewers here. There's a couple of different things you can do. You could actually use a rosemary stick and skewer that on there if you have enough of that.
Fancy.
Or else you use a skewer, and the other thing you can do with a skewer is, if you're going to cook something that takes a little longer and you're using an outdoor grill, you might want to soak your skewers in water, because then they get a little bit, you know, they get moist so they don't start burning.
Lastly, we have the s'mores that I want to make sure that we absolutely get to here.
Absolutely.
Because
let's get to the s'mores.
Those are my favorite. And what do? You put them all together, you prop them up in tin foil, and you put them in the oven?
Very simple. Let me just make a little room here. Very simple. We're going to, take some tin foil, cut a little square of
Lonnie,
it.
get in here. You want to try this?
Cut a little
Chris?
square. Where are you guys?
Randall?
Oh, no, we are.
How you doing? Nice to see you
Put
again.
all of these in the oven together
Absolutely. You just wrap it up like this.
and put them in the oven.
And my suggestion is, look at this, they're sticking everywhere. My
these are the finished products?
suggestion is you put them like this in the oven so they don't burn. We have some warmer ones right here. Hold on. You guys
I want to
can-
see, Mark, as
pop
you're
right
doing
in.
that, how you stacked up against the other chefs. Remember, he had a budget of $40. Let's see how he did versus the other chefs who had $40. $37.11. That is
That's what I like to see.
that's a pretty low amount.
Let's go. Look at this.
Number 2.
All right.
Numero
no.
2. Mark,
gonna-
nice work. Did you
I'm
think?
gonna go pick
Did you think it could be a day like this
I'm
for you?
very, very happy.
As a
Very
number
happy.
2. Well, we're very happy too.
That's incredible.
And of course, Chris, this coming week, we've got some new things for folks to vote on about what they want to see in next Chef on a Shoestring. All right, so if you want fricasseed chicken, you're going to text in 01. If you want seared tuna, text in 02. And pork tenderloin is 03. Of course, the standard message and data rates are going to apply there.
Yeah, right. You know, I think the early favorite is seared tuna right now, from what I'm hearing. From what I'm hearing.
Tuna for $40 or less? I hope so.
You're not going to get much tuna.
Mark Murphy. Well, we'll figure
the
that out
challenge.
next week. Mark
Good
Murphy,
stuff,
thanks
good
for being
stuff.
here, and you can find
Great
the
job, Mark.
recipe at cbsnews.com/Saturday.